Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the Outback Al.
I'm hot. We need to start again. I almost said I'm all for justice.
Wow.
I'm so used to him saying it.
Okay. Alright.
Okay.
You know I'm gonna keep that just to
It
show
is
him.
late.
Next time we're there, I'm gonna show him that.
Damn.
Hello everybody and welcome. Everybody calm down. I know it's late. Bang this out before midnight.
Sorry.
Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the Outback Al.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Scooby Doo.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And we're here. It's spooky season. It's
Yay.
finally here. It's October. Always a fantastic time.
Yes.
And what are we watching? We're watching Scooby Doo. That is technically anime because it was made by Mook Studios in Japan. So, anime Scooby Doo. And what's better for Halloween than Scooby Doo?
Yes.
Specifically, we're watching 4 Scooby Doo movies: Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders, and Cyber Chase. And we got another thing at the end of the month, but don't worry about that yet. Also, don't forget, we also finished watching Magia Record this week, and well, that's coming out today as well. So, look at that, look at this, look at everything! Let's talk Scooby Doo. Who watched this when they were a kid, when you still had to rent it from like Blockbuster?
Me.
Everybody.
I can't remember the first time I watched this, to tell you the truth. I think it might have been on TV on Cartoon Network the first time I saw it.
I mean, the reason that this was made was because of Scooby-Doo got a resurgence in popularity because of reruns on Cartoon Network in the 90s. And
Yeah,
then,
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, 98, they're like, before 98, because, you know, it takes time, but 98, they come out with this, and I think they did direct-to-video, but still got very popular, and it definitely ran on the network for a while after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was also... obviously, there was direct-to-video movies back in, like, the late 80s, early 90s, like Ghoul School, but, like, this was the first modern Scooby-Doo animated movie.
Yep.
Ever since this movie, there's been at least one animated Scooby-Doo movie that came out every year.
Yep, this is where it all started. I was like 6 when this came out.
Damn, that means I was...
Young. We were all young.
I was
I don't know.
like 2, maybe?
I was like 3.
Damn. Anyway,
I definitely
let's not...
didn't see it when it came out, but I probably saw it when I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, like, I think everyone's seen this at this point, and it's like... I don't want to be, like, discount, like, the ones that came before it too much, but, like, this is probably the best Scooby-Doo movie, right?
It's definitely up there.
It is up there.
I don't know if it...
Everyone
If
has
it's
their
not
personal
number 1,
favorite.
it's top 5.
Yeah, I'd say
Yes.
it's top 5.
You can easily say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this. Like, this is essentially, I don't want to say the first time because, like, there were some other kind of weird red shirt Shaggy stuff that went on, but this is the first time that they're no longer kids. They're like adults living their lives. Daphne's a reporter. Fred's the cameraman, because of course he is. Velma owns a bookshop, and Scooby and Shaggy are working for the TSA.
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Even in the original series, even though they're labeled as teenagers, they don't look like teenagers at all.
I mean, I think they look like teenagers.
Same.
No, they look like adults. They look like our age.
No.
I think they're a little tall, but they don't necessarily look like adults.
I knew, like, tons
Nah,
of kids
they-
in
they-
high school who look like that.
Yeah, same.
Nah, I think they look like adults to me.
I think it's because you grew up with them, man.
I
And you
think
probably
when I
also
was-
you probably watched a pup named Scooby Doo, and compared to them, yeah, they all do look like adults.
I think it's like when you're a kid and you grow up with it, like they seem old just because like 16, 17-year-olds seem old when you're like 5.
Yeah,
So
but
that's why I thought they
Yeah.
seemed like adults when I was a kid.
probably
Nah, I was getting saved by the Vel vibes from them. I mean, I still love them.
those are
but-
teenagers too. The
Yeah, but
characters
they're adults
are.
playing teenagers.
I mean, it's probably
I
the
will-
voices.
Yeah, those were like the
Yeah.
original cast members.
Casey
Except
Kasem.
for- yeah, Casey Kasem. Don't like have a like a debate with your dad about what he's more famous for, whether it's Shaggy or the radio thing?
Like, my dad thinks it's the radio thing, but I think that's...
I don't think anyone even remembers that.
Because it was a few decades ago.
No one under 50 remembers that.
But it's like, for me, and I think most people remember him as Shaggy.
Yeah.
Unless you really listen to the radio, like...
Unless you only grew up with Matthew Lillard. If you're really young.
Yeah, but you'd have to be, like, 15.
Yeah. But in either case, canonically, if we can call this canon or not, this is the first time that they're adults, which is eventually retconned in that other movie. We don't need to talk about that just yet. And they're kind of like going on with their lives kind of thing, but they're separated, but they got to come back together because, like, you know, everyone needs a good reunion. Daphne's doing that, like, Haunted America, Ghost Hunter, Ghost Debunker. It's kind of, it's like...
It's like a show that just goes coast to coast looking for ghosts.
Or ghost to ghost, as they say in the...
Ghost to ghost with Daphne Blake.
Yeah. I could see Daphne definitely becoming a reporter at some point. She seems very personable and, like, very easy for, like, to get into that sort of thing, maybe. Fred as a cameraman was a little weird, but, like, whatever. He's following Daphne and he gets a van. Or he's a producer.
Also her producer? Yeah.
You must not be, like,
let's be
that
real.
high up
He's
as a
chained at
producer.
the hip.
Yeah.
He's chained at the hip with Daphne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the premise is kind of weird. Because, like, she's looking for real ghosts.
Yeah.
Her entire career as a teenager onwards was always debunking ghosts. I can understand the fascination of what if they were real, but, like, realistically, would she actually try this? Because, like...
What do you mean?
At this point, I feel like if she was going to see a real ghost, she should have by now. And I know that me saying this is regardless, is stupid because, like, I know what happens later. But, like, I don't get why she thought that there might be real ghosts out there, given her experiences before. It's always a dude in a mask.
I think it's just one of those things where also, like... I mean, I'm sure some of us, like, believe in ghosts, right? Even though we've never seen it.
Yep.
So it's like...
Me.
Yeah, I kind of do, too.
Your house is haunted.
Well, that's true. But it's like... I don't know. I think it's one of those things that you would still wonder about, even if, you know, it was quote-unquote debunked most of the time. I could still see somebody like Daphne kind of buying into it, or at least wanting to explore, like... For a TV show, the legends, even if it's not about figuring out if it's real or not all the time, like, just exploring
I mean, at the
That's
same
fair.
time, it's like one of those Travel Channel shows where even though, like, you don't actually catch anything, it's more like you're going over the history of the place that it took place in and, like, history of the events and, like, just kind of giving people, like, an overview of, like, what historical event took place there and, like, everything surrounding it. So
That
it's kind of like...
That or, yet again, it's just another guy pulling a real estate scam.
I mean, maybe.
Well, no, that's what happens. Like, they end up just having regular Scooby Doo adventures again, and we get a montage of it, but... She seems... she's so disappointed every time. Like, you're catching criminals again on TV. I mean, like, this is good for ratings, I would think.
Yeah, but it's not what she wants to find.
I know.
That's the problem.
When life gives you lemons, that's what I'm saying a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much money do you think they would have gotten had they recorded all their adventures as kids?
A lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like,
They probably should have.
you're like live catching. Well, like carrying around a bunch of film equipment in the '60s probably wouldn't have worked out.
But even just like a handheld camera.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I would watch you actively try to chase down a dude. If this were real, everyone's watching your show. Because that's insane and kind of great. Eventually they end up in New Orleans. Let's get back to the actual plot. Not trying to figure out the realism of Scooby-Doo. Yeah, they go to New Orleans, hear about a haunted island, and they're like, well, we gotta go check that out. So they go there. There's some colorful characters along the way, and the place is haunted. It's got zombies and shit. And people are floating in the air. and everyone's creepy, and there's a bunch of cats. Why are there so many cats? And, like, I feel like I'm rushing through this, but yeah, like, the zombies are real. Fuck. Pirate zombies, pirate ghosts, tourist zombies. They're everywhere, man. And then eventually they're trying to investigate, and they think, oh, it's the groundskeeper, because it's usually someone who works on the property, or oh, it's the guy trying to catch the giant catfish. But, again, red herring. We've talked about red herring, right?
I think so.
That's a character we haven't talked about him on the podcast. Do you guys remember a pup named Scooby Doo? There was the character Red Herring, and Fred always thought it was Red Herring.
Yep.
Because of course he did.
I never understood that joke as a kid, but now that I know what that term is, I think it's hilarious.
Same. Bring back Red Herring. Just a side character in something.
I think there was one episode where Red Herring was actually the person responsible.
He was. It was the one episode where everyone said, Fred, you got to go a whole day without accusing Red Herring of something. And it's the one day that it is him. I'm just saying, they need to... That's just a funny idea for a character. Bring him back in, like, some news. There's a new Scooby Doo show, like, every 2 to 3 years.
Right.
You could incorporate him somewhere.
You could. I wonder if that show did well, Pup Named Scooby Doo.
It had, like, what, 1-2 seasons or something? We should just watch a Pup Named Scooby Doo. We should just watch a Pup Named Scooby Doo at some point. Anywho, I'm kind of rushing through this because it's mostly just the usual Scooby Doo shtick of go around, split up, look for stuff, find a thing, get chased by a monster, reveal the big reveal. And the big reveal this time was that, yeah, they were real zombies, but it was the people who own the house who were essentially, what was that Stephen King movie? Sleepwalkers? With the cat people? They're cat people, and they eat souls. And it's not like Sleepwalkers, because there's no incest going on. Right? But Mark Hamill is there. So that's another connection you got.
Anywho, he was in Sleepwalkers?
Yeah, he was a cop. I think it was like near the end. I don't know that they utilize Mark Hamill to his fullest in that movie, but here they do because he's the catfish catching guy, and he's just there to ham it up a little bit, and it's always fun to watch. Regardless, cat people there since the 1700s? Something like that. Got killed by pirates, who sold their souls to a cat god, ate a bunch of pirates, built their plantation place, and just kept eating people all over the years, occasionally bringing in tourists and stuff to eat on Harvest Moon. And, so these 2 people are immortal. 3, if you include the riverboat guy, Jacques, and, because they had to get someone with a boat to bring people in. And yeah, so cat people eating people and turning them into zombies. And then Scooby and Shaggy screw up their day. Because that's always how it goes. Them 2 idiots they delayed them long enough that the moon passed, and they turned to bones and died. And so did all the zombies, because they were like, hey, our souls are finally free. Some of us were evil murderers. Doesn't matter. We don't need to go into some of the logistics of some of it.
The Confederates.
To be fair, there were Confederates and Union soldiers, so they were eating everybody. And are you really that mad that the Confederates got eaten?
I'm not.
Yeah.
They might have been doing a favor with that one.
Yeah. They also ate the Union soldiers. They ate everybody. There's bad guys. It's bad people. There's a lot of bad people here. Yeah, it's a plantation in the South. They kind of just avoid the whole there might have been slaves here kind of thing. Yeah, that's the whole plot. I mean, it's Scooby Doo. These plots are not complicated. No. They're mysteries for children. Oh my God, why are we watching
I love
this?
Scooby Doo growing up, but
that's why we're watching this. They're amazing.
Well. I realize, rewatching this movie and The Witch's Ghost, there's always a pattern with these movies. It always starts off with a in media race where the gang is catching a criminal, they unmask them, then they do a bunch of shenanigans where they have a bunch of slapstick with Scooby and Shaggy, whether it be with food or hijinks. Yeah. Then they go meet the people that start the plot. Then they have more shenanigans intermixed with Velma trying to solve anything because she's the most competent one in the group. Oh, and then you get the big
have your bait and switch. You have your red herring.
Yep, and
red
then
herring is always there as a concept, but never there in person.
And then basically, you get the crazy shit that happens throughout most of the climax of the movie, and in the end, it's always Scooby and Shaggy that inadvertently save the day. I mean, that's rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what made it work in the original show, and that's what they do in these movies.
Yeah, the only real difference between the old ones and the anime one that we're watching now is that the monsters are real at the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the red shirt Shaggy stuff as well, but there is the theory that none of it actually happened, and red shirt Shaggy is just like Shaggy having hallucinations because he's on drugs.
Then why was Daphne there in the 13
Because she's the empathetic
Ghosts?
one. She's the empathetic one who's trying to help him through rehab. Hey, it goes to your ship. It lends itself to your ship, so go with it. That's all I'm saying.
You ship Daphne and Shaggy.
When I was a kid.
Can I also throw this out there? If red shirt Shaggy is just a hallucination, that might mean that Scrappy Doo doesn't exist.
I mean, that would be good, actually.
Right?
So, you know what?
Of course, like a little imp monster dog thing following you around. I think he's high.
What about the rest of Scooby's family?
I mean,
does Scooby really have a he's a dog.
Does have
a Great Dane. I know he does, but like, how often would you see them?
They were there
He
so
adopted
much.
a dog. Like, I'm just saying, when you adopt a pet, do you often go see their parents?
So are they all a hallucination?
I mean, let's be real here. Like, I'd have to look back at the other Hanna-Barbera shows. I don't know how often anyone talks to Scooby other than Shaggy. I know in later years, it's pretty much accepted that everyone understands what Scooby says.
I feel like they all talk to him in Where Are You too?
I mean, the gang talked to Scooby. Yeah. Not not too many people outside of Mystery Incorporated speaks.
I think it's like a Stewie situation. Like Stewie from Family Guy. Brian always understands him. But the rest of the family is like, I don't think they actually understand him, and that's the comedy of it. He's a baby, he's baby talking. They don't understand that he's saying he wants to kill everybody. But
I think at least everybody I feel like the world knows that Scooby can talk, and they just accept that this dog is talking because it's a cartoon.
But are they? I'm really trying to think of anyone who's had a conversation with Scooby other than Shaggy.
I mean, we'll get to it next week, but...
Well, no, in the original show. In the original show is what I'm talking about, because that kind of lends credence a little bit to...
they always talk to Scooby in the original show. If you're talking about the Mystery
did he just say something and everyone else is just continuing the conversation?
No, remember Velma would, give him Scooby's... she'd talk to him.
She'd say, would you do it for a Scooby snack? Now, whether he says yes or no, he's a dog. He could just make yes, woof, woof. Like, that's not a conversation. I can say who's a good boy.
His body language a lot, Scooby. So, you could say that they don't actually hear him.
That's what I'm saying, though.
You could say that, but it feels like they're talking to him.
Shaggy definitely has conversations with him. Without a doubt.
Even in the original one, you could say Shaggy's not having a conversation with him. If you're going to say that about the rest. No, I'm saying
he is because he's high. And he is without a doubt coded as a stoner since day one.
I don't think that was their intention, though, that Scooby's a hallucination. It was
I'm not saying the dog is a hallucination. I'm saying him talking is a hallucination.
I don't think that was
and a lot of the other shit is. I'm saying Scrappy's a hallucination. Scooby being able to talk is a hallucination, and the reluctant werewolf is him really just on acid. Or bath salts. I don't know.
I mean, that one was wild, for sure. It was wacky races.
We're down a rabbit hole. It's a fun hole, though. I think the 13 Ghosts, as he got high, Daphne was there, and they were just watching a Vincent Price marathon on TV. Yeah. And he just imagined all of that stuff. And for every now and then, they were cutting back and forth between that and Temple of Doom, which is how you get, was his name Flim Flam? What was it?
It was something really weird.
I don't know, that the little con man character.
Yeah, I don't know why they named him that.
It was weird.
But he was kind of like that Temple of Doom character you're talking about.
That's absolutely.
He was definitely based on that. But he was like a child. I don't know what he was doing there.
I think he was just watching Temple of Doom and flipping back and forth between Temple of Doom and Vincent Price movies. Because, like, honestly, you combine the two, that's what 13 Ghosts is.
Okay, did anybody else watch 13 Ghosts, or do you guys not know what we're even talking about?
No,
I mean, I've heard of the show. I haven't seen it.
Check it out.
I haven't seen a lot of Scooby-Doo, to tell you the truth.
It's a very weird one. I don't know.
It is.
Scooby opens a box and it releases 13 ghosts into the world, and then Vincent Price shows up and says you have to collect them all.
Yeah.
And they have to travel around the world collecting these ghosts again. Think about it. It is a combination of a bunch of Vincent Price movies and Indiana Jones. Traveling the world, Indiana Jones. Ghosts, Vincent Price. Exotic locations and getting into adventures, Indiana Jones. Spooky shenanigans, and Vincent Price is there. Vincent Price movies. I think he was flipping back and forth between a Vincent Price marathon and an Indiana Jones marathon between commercial breaks. And Daphne was there because why not? She wants to hang out with her friend. We were supposed to be talking about Zombie Island, right?
Yep.
Let us know what you think about these theories. It's at least an interesting discussion.
I mean, we're talking about Scooby in general a little bit, especially because we're going to be talking about the other Scooby movies.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, like, overall, what's... I get... Because this is so short and, like, the plot's so easy to get through. What was our favorite parts of this movie?
I mean, it's kind of cliche, but... the whole sequence with It's Terror Time Again, that song's amazing.
Good God, that kicked ass.
That's a good one.
Yeah, the songs in general I like a lot in this one.
Yeah, we had like 3.
There were like 3 songs. Yeah.
We had the Scooby Doo cover from, I think it was Third Eye Blind who did it. Mm-hmm. And then a band called, I'm double checking, Sky Cycle did The Ghost Is Here, which was for their montage of traveling across America, catching all the not ghosts. And It's Terror Time Again, which is like, that's just a kick-ass music video that they made.
And it's right. It came at the perfect time too, because that's when like the shit really hit the fan. All the zombies came out. Everyone's running, and
they realized they were real.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess one thing I could say is that the voice cast in general is really good. I mean, obviously Frank Welker has been a mainstay as Fred for pretty much his entire existence.
They're like Kevin Conroy, man. You've been doing this for 2 decades. I hope you got this down.
He's just born with the Fred voice.
And then Scott Enos is a very good Shaggy, in my opinion. I like him a lot.
Was he Shaggy in this? Was that not Casey Kasem this time?
Nope, Scott Enos did the 4
Scott
movies.
and then Lillard took over after him, right?
Well, Casey Keatum did a brief. He did a few movies. I know he did the vampire one right after Cyber Chase.
Right.
And he did a couple more after that, but then he eventually retired, and that's when Matthew Lillard took over.
Yeah. I think, is there a new person for it now, or is it still Lillard? I know it was like someone else in that Scoob movie, which was...
Yeah, Will Forte did it in Scoob.
Yeah, I'm going to be real with you. The voice cast was not great all around.
Well, Matthew Lillard went on record and said that he was very upset they didn't ask him to even say, hey, do you want to come back for this?
He would have been good.
Yeah, I think they wanted like a quote-unquote all-star cast for it.
Dude, an all-star cast is...
But people that the general audience know, and not just people who know voice actors, but I do think Matthew Lillard is a much better Shaggy.
It's Scooby Doo. It's gonna make money no matter what.
Scooby Doo is the selling point. Like, I get it for if you have
But you know how they do general cartoon movies in theaters where they get people who are kind of known.
I get it. Emoji Movie.
Yeah, it was just a marketing thing.
Angry Birds, whatever. Get voices that people know because you're not coming to see the characters.
Right.
But this is Scooby-Doo. You're coming to see the characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, you know.
I guess it could have been worse, but we're not talking about that movie. Zombie Island, good movie.
Yeah, I like good song. I like the voice. I like the voice cast in general, and yeah, I like the animation. Obviously, you know, it's gotta do math in my head. It's
98.
23 years. No, 20. No, I can't do math.
No, you had it.
Wow.
23.
Okay.
23 years old. Still holds up. I mean, I think one of the big things, like especially at the time when this came out, this would have been kind of a big step up from a lot of the things we'd seen. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. Because up until this point, I'm trying to think what the last Scooby movie or show would have been. And it still would have been kind of like that.
Scooby Doo.
Yes. But them as adults, I'm wondering. Because Puppet Named Scooby Doo is kind of its own little... It's a very different style. Like, this is back in the original style, but updated animation. You know what I mean? Like, I think the last thing we would have seen would have been, like, something from, like, one of the late 80s movies or something. That we'd seen these adult characters. And then they went into reruns for a lot. So, like, right before this, most people probably would have seen the original, like, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And then suddenly that jump in animation is like, wow, this is the best-looking Scooby ever.
And then 3 years later, you would get Scooby-Doo, what's it called? The new show.
What's New Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, What's New Scooby-Doo, yeah.
That was a good
really
show,
good.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of hit their stride, I think, in the late 90s and kept going with it for a while.
Yeah.
I kind of regret not watching that show growing up. I never actually saw a single episode of that show.
What?
Oh, wow.
You never saw it?
Like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Scooby-Doo in my life.
Aw.
I mean, I saw a few episodes of the original show. I saw A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. I saw the 2 theatrical live-action movies, and then the 4... Well, not even the 4, the 3 Mook movies, because I didn't see Witch's Ghost until this year. So
you've now seen 4.
Wait. So, what were you watching as a child?
Let's get deep.
A few episodes... Like, I didn't watch the original show on TV on reruns. I had a VHS that combined...
No, that's not what I meant.
What did you watch as a child?
Like in general?
What were you spending your time on? Because I spent my time watching Looney Tunes, this, and Tom and Jerry.
I mean, I loved Tom and Jerry. I loved Nickelodeon on Cartoon Network. So whatever was on those 2 channels, especially Nickelodeon.
I definitely...
Okay, so you were more of a Nickelodeon person. That makes a bit more sense.
Well, it
I
depends.
grew up on Cartoon Network.
I did Cartoon Network too. Like, it was a close second. It
depends when you're watching, because Scooby-Doo was a
That is
rerun
true.
that was usually, I think, shown not like at prime time. It was usually like daytime TV. So
I mean,
depending on what you're doing, like you might have been in school or something when Scooby-Doo was on. You get home, it's Toonami time, and then it's like... God, I'm aging myself because, like, I don't know what you guys had when you were coming home from, like, elementary and middle school. But, like, I know I had, like, Powerpuff Girls and stuff.
When I was coming home, I wasn't watching TV. I was doing my homework.
Well, you're a nerd.
Obviously, like, during the summer when I was home and I would stay inside watching TV, like, my grandma would babysit me. During the times, like in the early afternoon, I would tend to watch either PBS, because I actually watched a lot of shows on PBS as a kid, and if it was on, I would watch the Tom and Jerry reruns. I grew up watching mainly Tom and Jerry as far as like old school cartoon franchises. So
that makes a little more sense, because Looney Tunes was on in the morning, and then Tom and Jerry came on after that, and Scooby-Doo was either before Looney Tunes or after Tom and Jerry, from when I watched it when I was a kid during the summertime.
And it's not like I didn't grow up not watching any Scooby-Doo. Like I said, I loved Alien Invaders and Cyber Chase, and I know this is a very unpopular thing to say, unless of course you're a memer, but I actually thought the live-action movies, while they had a lot of faults, I think I liked them for what they were. I think the cast mainly carries those 2 movies because, yeah, the plots are kind of stupid, but I don't know. I maybe it's my nostalgia for them.
I think they're fun.
The first one was pretty fun, yeah. But yeah, pretty much with Cartoon Network, I watched Scooby-Doo for the most part.
Same. Like, I don't really think I watched a whole lot of Nick once I got to be around, like, 7 or 8. unless it was Drake and Josh or Ned's Declassified.
Oh yeah, Nick was my main channel growing up. Like I can't even tell you how many hours I spent watching Nick shows as a kid.
For me, it was mostly like Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Rocket Power, stuff like that.
Well, you were more of a Disney person overall.
I watched almost all the Disney shows for sure.
A lot of tangents this episode.
It's fine.
We're talking about childhood shows.
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
so.
you can't not, at a certain point, put yourself back where you were when you were first watching this. Because, like, this would have come on a rerun sometime in the early 2000s. That's right when we were all, like, kids.
I mean, I had the video,
Yeah.
so that's how I watched it most of the time. I don't remember it actually playing on Cartoon Network much.
I mean, they wouldn't
played
do
it
it
during
often,
Halloween.
But yeah, they would have, like,
Yeah.
special times for it.
Yeah, because I remember at least watching Zombie Island on TV. I think I watched Alien Invaders first, and then I think I rented out Cyber Chase from a video store that doesn't exist anymore. So,
Trying to think, what else? Should we talk about the sequel?
That was
Oh.
weird.
well, before we do that, I mean, any final thoughts on this film? Because like it is really dark for a Scooby Doo movie, like especially
I think that's what I
towards the
liked
end.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, especially as a kid, it was like, wow, Scooby-Doo's not goofy well, it's goofy, but it's not, it's like, wow, this is like...
Definitely felt the most serious, and I think it was the first time that the monsters were real.
Other than when Shaggy was high, right?
Other than, those
Other than when
offshoot
Dracula turned him into a
80s
werewolf.
movies.
But just
But,
like the whole
when all the gangs
flashback, yeah.
involved.
Just like the whole flashback in general, like all those people got brutally fucking murdered by a bunch of gators. Like,
Yeah. Or eaten by cat people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a messed up movie. It's kind of great, but it's just like, it's that just right level of dark and messed up where it's like a kid can still absorb this and be better for it, I think.
I mean,
Yeah.
kids back then who were maybe like 6 or 7 or 8, they were at the time watching Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps. So like they were already desensitized to creepy shit.
Yeah. I think to some degree this is on the same level as that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit worse.
There were some creepy ones in, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. They had some good shit every now and then. Some silly shit.
Oh, yeah, but they
some
had
good
a
shit.
couple that were pretty creepy.
Yeah. I mean, their opening alone is very creepy.
Yeah, I remember you
So.
mentioning.
Yeah, no. That show came out when I was a little too young for it at the time. So it was like, I'm going to just turn away from that for a minute.
I feel like Goosebumps might have been a little goofier, but I don't quite remember.
I didn't watch
It
that one as
was.
much. I just don't think I hadn't figured out what channels were at that point.
So-
So
I watched some of the Goosebumps reruns when they were coming out on Cartoon Network, and they were goofy as hell.
yeah.
That's all I can say.
I just remember reading some of the books as a kid in like school, and they always would piss me off because they never finished the book on the book. They always would end on a cliffhanger, and you have to buy another book to see the ending. And I was like, really? Like, I remember in one of my elementary school classes, we read it, and I was invested in this book, and it ends on a massive cliffhanger, and that's where it ends. I was like, even as like a 6 or 7-year-old, I was like, are you kidding me?
Did they really?
Yes.
I didn't read them, actually, so.
I never got that sense. I always felt like they were each like their own little encapsulated story thing.
They do. It's just that you'd have to buy another book to see the ending, because at least the book I read, they ended it on a cliffhanger, and then the rest of the book was the ending of a previous book.
Huh.
Oh, they pulled Arabian Nights shit on you.
Arabian Nights? What do you mean?
Well, yeah, the story, or was it 1001 Nights, Sherazade?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a much longer story to get to the point of it, but, like, ultimately the Sultan marries a new bride every day, and then the next morning kills her, so that she can never, like, cheat on him. And then the woman Sherazade, she marries him, and she tells him a story during the night, but she doesn't finish the story. She's like, well, I'll tell you the rest tomorrow night. And he's like, damn it, okay, I need to hear the rest of the story.
You mean that sort of...
Yeah, so she ends the story the next
Like
night, but then
leaving
starts
on a
another. Yes, she always leaves on a
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger so that she didn't get killed every morning.
Is R.L. Stein one dude, or do you think he's multiple dudes?
Is this like that James Patterson thing?
Yeah, it's like James Patterson. He's got to be multiple dudes, right? Because there's so many books.
Well, I mean, they're not like long books.
Maybe.
So I'd imagine it could be just probably one guy.
I wonder if he's still writing. Anyway.
Don't know. Zombie Island.
All right. Yeah, all right. We might as well go to the sequel.
It's dumb. I'm going to say this. I enjoyed the first
bad.
half. I thought it was pretty fun setup overall, but it's dumb after that. And it's kind of... It's dumb.
It's
a really dumb movie.
anticlimactic, and it was a cash grab because, Zombie Island's one of the most beloved Scooby Doo movies, so...
It was
it
was coming out on like an anniversary, right?
Yeah, the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Or at least near the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, and that's where they retcon it to Daphne had an internship at a news station,
Right.
an internship that allowed you to travel the country.
And how was Velma owning a bookstore?
How was Fred the producer? How was Shaggy and Scooby working for the TSA in high school?
Oh,
Like, they cannot
and not only
convince
that,
me.
though, and not only that, but I read the synopsis online of the movie. Apparently, it's supposed to take place a few months after the events of the original, but yet, in the movie, they have modern technology all over the place, so, like, okay.
I think to some degree you have to chalk it up to Scooby-Doo is meant to live in a timeless universe sort of thing. But ultimately, yeah, you're going to age yourself no matter what based on certain things. It's a flimsy setup, but in the first half, the jokes aren't bad. Like, the initial bit of Shaggy and Scooby are like, listen, can we just go somewhere on vacation where you guys don't try to turn everything into a mystery?
And then
they
Velma,
agree,
Daphne, and Fred are like addicts that are going cold
oh my
turkey.
God.
Like,
Oh my god, it's literally the red herring episode. It's the red herring episode from a pup named Scooby-Doo, but it's everyone now.
I don't know how many writers are on the movie, but like it's like two writers where it's like one writer is writing clever satirical jokes and self-referential humor that, kind of works. And then the other writer writes whatever the fuck the movie was. Because like
Usually, two writers is not a bad thing. Zombie Island had 3. It's when you have 6 writers that things really shit the bed.
I mean, the fact that like, okay, it was a fake movie set. The guy who plays Varric from Korra, he steals the show in the movie. He's great, but like the whole Panther guy, that's never explained, never brought up, never explained at the end at all, and they just end it without a whimper. It's just like, okay,
Cat people, man.
Yeah, cat people. It's just.
They
And
wanted
Fred
to end
Fred
with a
wants to
mystery.
fuck the mystery machine half the movie. Like it's.
I think that, they just eventually had to give him something other than, like, he just, like, they...
I
What is
feel
his
like
thing? Is
in
traps and...
in recent years, they either make him really obsessed with traps or really obsessed with the mystery machine because they don't know what else to do with him.
Or both.
Or sometimes both, but it's
I
usually
mean,
one or the other.
Like, I think Velma and Shaggy and Scooby are the most fortunate people because, like, their characters really haven't changed much since their inception.
I feel like they had the clearest characters
Yeah.
in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
And Daphne and Fred are just the good-looking two, I
Right,
guess.
so they don't always know what to do with them.
Did you guys ever see Be Cool Scooby-Doo?
My God.
No.
Like, almost to accentuate the point of no one knows what to do with Daphne, she literally had a different shtick in every episode. And it's... I don't know, it's kind of hilarious.
She definitely does not feel like Daphne at all. She almost feels like Mabel from Gravity Falls. Like...
It's the weirdest show, but it's fun, I think.
She does not seem right to me.
I mean, in all honesty, you could even say that Sarah Michelle Gellar's interpretation is probably the best interpretation of Daphne.
I mean, she was kind of like Buffy.
But
Yeah.
like essentially how it was working was like she was old Daphne at the beginning of the movie. They split up, come back together, and now she's new Daphne, kind of like trying to improve upon what she was in the past. I like that interpretation of it, especially since again that situation is not dissimilar to Zombie Island, where it's like this is the adult version of everyone. This is everyone a few years after they've tried to improve themselves and get better, and then came back together, kind of thing. So I think that kind of works. I think, like, weirdly enough, the live action is much more comedic in how what's everybody doing, like, or like how they changed over time. But I think they both work in that regard.
Can you imagine how it would have been if they had kept it like really adult, like R-rated Scooby-Doo for the live action? Wasn't that their original plan?
They had a script. They had a script where it was very adult, and I kind of want to see the script. Like, I want to see what.
Dude, it's James Gunn. He's like,
yeah,
he had something in mind.
There was a lot of adult jokes in that movie.
It would have been like Brightburn.
Something like that. I don't know.
There was a lot of adult jokes in that movie.
I know what it would have been. I might be asking the wrong crowd. Have you guys ever seen Venture Brothers?
I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
They have a Scooby Doo episode, and it's the darkest possible version of Scooby Doo.
I think you showed that to me.
Like, I showed you an episode. I did not show you the Scooby Doo one.
I thought you did, wasn't it? I swear you did.
I don't know.
I mean, have you ever seen Have you seen the Robot Chicken sketch where they go to Camp Crystal Lake?
Probably. It's just them getting chopped up, right?
I
feel like I know where the joke's going.
What they do at the end is kind of funny, though.
I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. You guys have any other things to say on Zombie Island?
No.
Even though I'm not a big fan of hot peppers at all, the hot peppers in the movie look really good. So I guess that's one thing. Yeah.
They do make you want to try a little bit.
Like, I know there's people that love eating hot peppers and love, like, doing the hot pepper challenges. I've never really been a hot pepper guy at all. Like, I can't even stand regular jalapenos, let alone something that's like 1 million Scoville units or something like that.
I like stuffed peppers. Those are good.
Stuffed peppers are good.
Yeah. Now we're getting to talk about food. I mean, if you want to talk Scooby-Doo, like a Scooby and Shaggy situation, let's talk food. We had, you know what, that is something we could always talk about. Like, what kind of food are they eating? They went, there's obviously your giant sandwiches that you gotta always have. Gumbo, good one. They mentioned biscuits that were super fluffy. Mm-hmm. The hot peppers that they were constantly scarfing down, that the island was famous for. Oh, the giant wheel of cheese they found in the TSA, and then the entire TSA.
You are a couple of gargoyles.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a Gorgonzola. Wait a minute, that guy was from something. I think they used to reuse that guy's character model in, like, The Witch's Ghost. We'll get to that. I think some character models got reused a couple times.
Do you mean the guy who was, like, terrified in the diner? Was that him?
No. The TSA dude with the mustache. You're a couple of Gorgonzolas.
No, but I mean, was he one of the guys in the diner?
Oh, he might have been the diner guy. Yeah, the guy who, like, they ate out of House and Home. He's like,
No, he wasn't the guy who owned the diner, but was he one of the terrified guests?
We're watching Witch's Ghost next week. We will find our TSA agent, who new headcanon, is being slowly but surely hunted down by Scooby and Shaggy for his food. All sorts of ideas you can come up with, Scooby-Doo. Anywho, I think Zombie Island is a yay. Amongst many of the other things we talked about. Yeah, so don't forget to watch Magia Record if you haven't already. We did episodes 5 through 8, and next week, Witch's Ghost, the next Scooby-Doo anime movie. I'm looking forward to that. All that good stuff. We got a couple, like, there's like a... Yeah, we'll get to it. But yeah, come back next week for that and watch some other stuff, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!